Hello, my loves. Welcome to another episode of the Becoming You podcast. Today, we are going to be discussing the topic of the real reason why you feel stuck in life. And now, this idea for the solo episode came around because I've been doing quite a few consultation calls with people who are interested in my coaching services. And these are like 30-minute calls where I get to know you, you get to know me, and at the end, if there's a fit for us to work together, then, we discuss what options you have available in terms of working with me. And I love doing these calls because one, it allows me to have conversations with my ideal audience, which is you, right? If I don't have a pulse on what you are thinking, what you are feeling, then I'm not going to be able to design programs that will truly help you get the results you desire in life. And for me, I also love it because I get to connect with people. And that is really what coaching is about, right? Allowing someone to be seen and to empathize and give them a safe space to share their deepest fears and vulnerabilities. And it's a way for me to give back to you, my audience, of just showing up for you. And I can tell you one of the most healing things is when someone shows up for you and gives you a space to just be nothing but yourself. So for all these reasons, I give and I get from these consultation calls, which sidebar, if you're interested in one, go check out the links in the show notes. And you can, if you've never had a consultation call with me, these are free 30-minute chats that you can book with me, and I would love to chat with you. So there is an overarching theme that comes out in every single one of these calls. After we've done the initial introduction of tell me about yourself, the question I always ask is, so tell me what made you want to book this call today? What's going on in your life that you would love to get some help around? And almost everybody, I guarantee you, they say these words in some way, shape, or form. And it is, I kind of feel stuck in life, right? And that's where we all start off. There's this feeling of stuckness. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on that. The feeling of stuckness, and I have gone through this, so I know exactly where you are and what you're feeling if this is where you are. A feeling of stuckness comes from doing the same rinse and repeat of life, right? Even though you might be doing different things, slightly different things every day, you might be having different weekend activities. It feels like you're living the same day over and over and over. And it feels like you're stuck in a hamster wheel in a 9 to 5. And life fails to have any kind of meaning or substance. And you really feel lost and confused. And you're wondering, like, what am I here to do? Like, what does my life consist of? Like, I don't truly believe it's to live the same day over and over again and call it a life. And you're coming up to this wall that you just keep hitting over and over and over, right? And there's something deep inside of you that says there's meant to be more to life than this, but you have it's just an inkling. It's this subtle essence and flavor of this knowing that there is more to life than the one that you're living, but you have no idea whether that's true or not. It's just this kind of sort of feeling, and you don't know how to start exploring it. You have no one to share these feelings with because you think you're going crazy. And yet you cannot shake this feeling of, I feel like there's more to life than this. I feel like I am not showing up as my fullest self in life. And so you continue to feel stuck, right? So this is what we're going to explore today. And if you are feeling this way, I want you to know that you are not alone. I would say congratulations that this is happening, because now that is a starting point for you to start shaking things up in your life. We all have to hit a low. Unfortunately, the human brain is designed in a way that we are not propelled to take action until we hit a bottom or until we hit a low. That's just how our brain works. When everything is comfortable, we kind of just coast until that coasting then becomes painful and we get stuck, right? But most of us only choose to take action when things are not working for us in life, when we feel really stuck, when we hit a new low, and how we've been doing things is no longer fixing the problem, right? A lot of us, when we're in this position, we might distract ourselves with a new purchase of something, right? Go out and go shopping and buy new clothes, or maybe move to a new house or switch to a new job. or, find some new hobby. Like for a while, these things will patch up the stuckness and it will give us a new lease on life, and we'll feel like, oh, there, it worked, until that stops working and we start going on the hunt again. It is actually a deeper issue that we are failing to acknowledge and address. And so we're going to be talking about the deeper issues today on the true reason why you are feeling stuck in life. So the number one reason, I'm going to just give it to you up front. We're not going to save the best for last, right? The number one reason is that you do not have a true connection to yourself. What do I mean by that? Almost every South Asian woman that I talk to, we are all formulated, we've all been told that to earn the badge and honor of a good, respectable daughter, a good, respectable wife, we have to do the things that others tell us to do. And we don't even know that questioning authority or questioning our elders is an option, because it has been beaten out of us. For some of us, it's literally been beaten out of us, and I'm sorry if that's happened to you. But for most of us, it's been done through, saying things like, you don't get to talk to your elders that way, you don't raise your voice like that, you can't question your teachers, you can't question your authority, you just have to do what you're being told to do. That's what a good girl does. Like, it's been slowly drummed out of us, this ability to question things and make decisions for ourselves, right? So when that's happened, you really have no idea of who you are as an individual. You have started to understand and build your identity through the eyes of others. Who you are is not a standalone thing. Who you are has become an amalgamation of what others think of you, right? For a long time, I didn't understand who I was or what I wanted. When I first started working with a coach, she'd ask me, what do I want? And I would always say, I don't know, because for the longest time, I wanted the things I wanted because other people told me I should want those things, right? Or I just seen people do that, like go to school, go to college, get a degree, get a job. And I assumed that that's all there was to life, because that's what everyone around me was doing. So I didn't even know there was an option to question and say, is this what I want? I didn't even know that that option was available, and I didn't have the ability to question because I had never been taught to question anything. I'd only been taught to follow the rules. I didn't have anyone say, critically think about this, right? I was only taught to believe your teachers tell you to do something, you do something. So I didn't have a true connection to myself. The only connection that I had to myself was through the commands of other people. And when we don't have a true connection to ourselves, and we wake up one day and we're like, whose life am I living? And that's part of the reason we're stuck, because we've just followed orders all our life from our parents, from our teachers, from our elders, our caregivers, our relatives. We've just followed orders, right? And I know that sounds like really harsh and dramatic when I say it like that, but in a subtle way, that's what we've been doing all our life, is we've been following other people's, and I do this in air quotes, orders or wishes for our life. You get married to a good person, you get a good job, you lead a respectable life, right? And so we feel stuck because we have built a life based on what other people thought we should do for our life. And one day you wake up and you realize you feel stuck. And the stuckness is because the life you've built doesn't feel like your life. And so now where do you start? Okay. Number two, you have become a people pleaser along the way. And that will also cause you to feel stuck in life, because you are constantly doing things or presenting yourself, presenting a version of you to others that is not the real you or the true you. When you've been told that, you can only be happy when others are happy with you, right? I always thought, oh, as long as others like me, my bosses respect me, my bosses think highly of me, my teachers love and respect me and think highly of me, my parents are pleased with me, my husband's pleased with me, my kids are pleased with me, if everybody is super happy and my friends love me and want to invite me to social events, then that means I must be doing great in life, right? But in that process, what happens is we lose ourselves because we're so busy trying to be the perfect version of ourselves, but perfect for others, right? So if your parents don't want you to be too loud, then you quiet your voice, right? And you zip your opinions. So then you're not being the real you're being the you that your parents want you to be, right? And then we do the same for our friends. We do the same for our bosses. We do the same for our teachers. We do the same for our children, right? We do the same for our siblings. We start to adapt and shift and change the version of ourselves so that nobody is ever upset with us. But guess who ends up being the most upset? It's us. Because we never allow our true and authentic self to shine through. Because we are worried that if that version of you steps out, then everybody else is going to be upset with you. And then if everybody else is upset with you, then you can't be happy with yourself because everybody's unhappy with you, right? This is the belief that you've been living under, that you can only be happy with yourself when others are happy with you. But the reason that you are feeling stuck is because you don't know who the real authentic version of you is, because you've been busy living a life changing yourself to what others want you to be. Okay? Number 3, you have been a rule follower all your life, right? And the life you're living now, it wasn't built based on a series of intentional choices that you have made, but you've been following someone else's formula for what a successful life needs to look like. I just spoke to someone today, and I think within a 6-month period, she's about to change her job for the 3rd time. There's nothing wrong with that, but she's hoping to feel unstuck because she believes her job is what is making her feel stuck. So she's changing from job to job to job. But guess what? No matter what job you go to, the person who's always going to be at that job is you. And the person that's stuck is you. It's not the job. That we just kind of take a problem and paste it on the thing that's external to us and believe that if we can change that external thing, the internal feeling will change. But maybe this person never even questioned whether the profession she ended up in was an intentional choice she made, or was it just by default she ended up there because it was maybe convenient or the closest opportunity. And a lot of us, we don't have clarity on what we want to do career-wise, right? It is a lot of time by accident, by default. We just happen to stumble into it. But that will continue to happen if we don't explore who am I, what are my gifts, what comes easily to me, what gives me joy, what did I spend time as a child doing that I lost hours doing or that came naturally to me, right? The ideal is for all of us to find a career where we use our gifts, right, to help the job or to help the company, to help others. Use the things that come easily to us. It took me a while to find my passion and purpose as a coach. I didn't land on this the first attempt that I, made right out of college or right after I quit corporate America. It took me many, many iterations. And every time I made a leap or a random detour, I thought, this is it. This is my purpose. And during those moments, during those years, I did those side hustles and gigs. It was my purpose because it was leading me to this point where I am today. And now I don't know that I'm going to be a coach for the next 20, 30, 40 years, right? But right now I am living my purpose, and I am doing the thing that comes so easily to me, right? With coaching, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like effort. When I show up in front of a client, it's very natural. And that's how I know this is what I'm meant to do. Because nothing about it feels hard or like an effort. And that is such a gift. Imagine going to work or showing up for whatever it is that you choose to do, and it feeling like a gift, not like a chore, not like, oh, this is something I have to do, right? Instead feeling like this is something I want to do. But the only way you get there, right, it cannot happen through wishful thinking. It happens because you decide the life that I'm living does not satisfy me, and I'm going to have the courage, even though I'm scared, to go find what it is. Who am I? What do I want? What are my gifts? What makes me come alive? Right? We all have that. Every single one of us have gifts, and it is your responsibility to learn and hone and craft that gift and turn it into something that will make you money, right? It doesn't have to be a business. You don't have to, business is not for everybody, right? But maybe your gift is you find it really easy to talk to people, right? Maybe your gift is like with numbers. Maybe that's what you are wonderful at, right? So, how can you hone and craft and make it fun to create a career that feels meaningful and purposeful where you're showing up like with your gifts? Like, what better way to live than share your gift with the world every day? Okay. Number 4, the reason you're feeling stuck is because you continue to swallow your opinions, your thoughts, your needs, and desires. Maybe because you feel like that's not a priority, no one cares. Right? And this is especially true for women in the Indian and South Asian culture. I cannot tell you the number of people that tell me they hold back on really asking for what they want. Especially the person I talked to today. I mean, I'm really fired up because of this consultation call I had today. She said, yeah, you're right. I never say the things I want to say. I never ask for the things that I want. I always just, file that away as it's not important. What my husband wants, that's a priority. What my parents want, that's a priority. What everyone else wants, that's a priority. And like today's conversation was the first time I gave her a different perspective. It was like, why shouldn't you be the priority? Why can't you be loud? Why can't you be opinionated? Why can't you be messy? Right? Why can't you express your opinions and thoughts as vehemently as, like, with as much force as a man would, right? Why did they get that right and we don't? It's because, again, in our society and in our culture, we've been told that's not a woman's place. Like, that is not cool for a woman to be so opinionated. And she said this so beautifully. She said, as women, we've been taught that we should be pleasing. And I was like, yes, you nailed it. We have been told that our job is to be pleasing to other people, pleasing to look at, pleasing to listen to, right? Pleasing to be around. What does pleasing really mean? It means don't say anything that's too opinionated. Don't disagree with anybody. Don't make anyone uncomfortable with the way you dress, right? Basically, what they're saying is be less of yourself. Be less of yourself so that you do not make other people uncomfortable. Because if you disagree with somebody's thoughts or opinions, you're going to make them uncomfortable, right? And you've been told that your self-worth should be measured by how pleasing you are to others, by how little you upset others. And if we are doing that, what you're saying is my desires and my needs is not important. My voice is not needed here. My voice, in fact, upsets people. So I'm going to swallow back my voice. I'm going to make myself quiet. I'm going to turn down my light, because if I shine too much of my light, it's going to be too bright in other people's eyes, and I don't want to upset other people. I should be pleasing. So if you are constantly making yourself smaller and making yourself quieter because you believe that's what is the right thing to do, how can you feel fulfilled in life? Right? Fulfilled means your cup is overflowing. You are being all of yourself. You're not starving yourself, right? You're not depriving yourself of anything. That's what it means to lead a fulfilling, purposeful, meaningful life. is to be the most you can be and not be scared of shining your light. And so the reason you are feeling stuck is because you are dimming your voice, you are dimming your light. And you're not allowing life force to flow through you. Because when life force flows through us, we become more of ourselves. We are not scared to use our voices. We are not scared to express our opinions. We are not scared to take up room. We're not scared to take up space in a room. And we truly believe that our voices are needed in a room, that we can make a difference. But everything you've been taught to believe until now is none of that. So you feel stuck because you believe you're like not wanted and you're insignificant in this world. So then you feel confused and lost in life. You're like, what am I here for? What is even my purpose? Okay. Number 5, the reason you feel stuck is because you've never given yourself space to feel your true feelings, or even been given permission, not that you need permission, to explore your true feelings, right? Because it goes back to my previous point. If you allow yourself to feel things deeply, that means you can go, from feeling deep sadness and crying and being really upset to being exuberant and jubilant and happy and joyful in another second, right? Everybody wants the happy you because then that makes them feel good. But nobody wants to handle the anger or the rage, the disappointment, the sadness, the grief, right? Because those are heavy energies. But if we don't allow ourselves to feel the heavy emotions because we think there's no room or space in my life for that, that's going to make somebody uncomfortable, it's going to make them upset. You keep suppressing your emotions because 1, you don't have the tools to handle it or to understand what it all means. And 2, it's going to upset the people that you're living with. And so you suppress your emotions. And when we don't feel our emotions, that's like shutting out a huge component of what makes our life meaningful. Because as humans, we are feeling beings. We're not doing beings, we're feeling beings. Everything that you do in life, from the money you earn, to the house you buy, to the car you drive, to the clothes you wear, everything is done because you are craving certain feelings, right? You buy that car because you believe it's going to make you feel proud and special and noticed, right? You go on that vacation because you want to feel relaxed. You go for that degree or that next promotion because you want to feel powerful, you want to feel needed, right? Every single action we take in life is because we are like stepping towards a feeling that we think we're going to get from completing that action. So great, that's a good thing, right? But why? So I'm stumbling over my words. We are driven by emotions and feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way life ought to be. But in that same essence, if you're constantly taking action to satisfy a feeling, then allow yourself to feel. If you don't ever allow yourself to feel, then how will that feeling ever get satisfied, right? It's a chicken or the egg story. You buy the car because you want to feel special and rich and wealthy. But then you don't ever let yourself feel rich and wealthy because you feel like that's going to go to your head, right? So you cannot have or feel like you're having a meaningful life if you don't allow yourself to feel all your emotions or to share those emotions with other people. That's what makes it even more meaningful, right? To allow the people closest to you in your life to see into the real you, your pain, your suffering, and your happiness. It's like saying, I only want you to see me when I'm happy, but like you don't feel comfortable with seeing me when I'm sad, and that's okay. Like it doesn't work like that. Relationships don't work that way. Healthy relationships don't work that way, right? If you want to feel close and intimate to your kids, you got to let them see you when you're at your best, but also when you're at your worst. Most of us try to shield our children from our pain, and we only want them to see the happy version of us. But I'm always encouraging my clients, let your children into your pain. Maybe not the details of it, but let them know, hey, mom is having a hard day. Mom is suffering a heartbreak right now. Mom is grieving something. Mom is really sad. We don't need to shield people from our emotions. It is okay to let people see us at our most vulnerable, right? Learning to feel is such a gift because it leads to you having a more meaningful life, because life is meant to be felt. A full life means it's a feeling life. You've allowed yourself to feel every emotion. And that's the beauty of life. I have found more meaning in life because I've allowed myself to feel things that I've been scared of, right? You cannot expect to experience happiness if you are always shielding yourself from feeling the sadness. It doesn't get to work like that. It's called contrast. Life is full of contrast. If you want to let in the good stuff, you've got to also be brave to let in the bad stuff and experience the bad stuff. And bad is a wrong term, right? You got to let in the uncomfortable stuff. There is no good or bad. The good or bad, the labels is what we stick on for judgment. But every emotion is a wonderful gift. It's just one of them is like makes us feel super comfortable, and the down feelings make us super uncomfortable. So we call one bad and one good, but there is no good or bad. There just is feelings. That's it. And so if we just allow these feelings to wash and work its way through us without judgment, you would actually be able to go higher and higher in the frequency of what you're feeling. Right? If we didn't mean sadness to mean like I'm broken or I'm weak, the sadness would move right through us and we would go on to feeling better right away. All right. And the final reason that you're feeling stuck is you want to stand out deep down, right? We all want to stand out and feel special, but we don't let our light shine and we don't speak our truth. This is a little bit of an overlap from, I think it was like point number 3, where you keep dimming your light, where you keep dimming your voice. And of course you feel stuck if you do that. Like imagine telling yourself, I'm not important in a room, right? Or my voice isn't important here. I'm not needed. I'm not significant. Like you are literally turning off the light that makes you you. And you're going against how life is supposed to work when you do that. Right? We're all here to shine our light. And just because when you're shining your light does not mean you're going to outshine somebody else. There's just no way. Okay? So I was very fired up and passionate about recording this episode today. Let me know what landed with you, what resonated the most with you. And does this make you feel a little more seen and heard? You're like, wow, now I truly understand why I'm feeling stuck. Which one of these, or maybe you have many of these that you resonate with and that you are doing currently, right? And I'm going to leave you with these parting words is that being stuck is something that everybody goes through in life at some point or another, or in multiple points in our life, right? But take it as a jumping off point of something's fundamentally got to change in my life, right? Continuing to feel stuck is not a default way to live life. You do not have to continue existing as a stuck person, right? When we're often stuck, our mind will say, well, I don't have any other option. And that's a way for you to keep in that stuck pattern, is to tell yourself that you don't have any option. You do have options. We always have options, but we just choose not to see it because somehow staying stuck is serving you. So you continue to say the story of I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. How is the story of I'm stuck serving you right now? I know that's a really painful question and a pointed question to ask you. But if you're choosing to stay stuck, then you're getting something out of it. You're benefiting from it in some way. Maybe it means I don't have to take responsibility for my life. Maybe you're wishing for somebody outside of you to come rescue you, right? That means you don't have to do the work. So those are all ways that you're benefiting from saying I'm stuck. And so ask yourself, how am I benefiting from staying stuck? What other options, if I was to become unstuck, What options do I have right now? The way you ask a question is essential, right? When you make a statement as like, I'm stuck, it closes a door. There is no opening to explore. But if you propose it as, why am I stuck? If I wasn't stuck, what would be my next action, right? Asking a question then starts massaging your brain to find a solution. Even if the solution doesn't come immediately, that's okay. Just keep asking the questions and trust the answer to come. And trust yourself when you get a nudge or like what feels like, oh, that could be an option. Explore it, right? If you just immediately shut it down, then you're going to remain stuck. It's because the options you're getting, you may not like the answers, but you have a responsibility to explore and do something to get unstuck. Just thinking alone is the first step, but action is the second step. You have got to do something. And the way I chose to do something about it was to get support, was to find somebody who had led a life like I had, who had felt and gone through the pain that I was currently experiencing and come out the other end. I hired that person to help me work through my own pain and stuckness because she had already walked that journey. She had already walked that path. And I trusted that coach at the time to get me through the darkness that I was feeling. Because if somebody had already found their way through the darkness, I know that they can help me find my way through the darkness, right? They have lived it. They found the solution. So I was like, here, take my hand, show me the way. And that was the easiest shortcut that I could find. Because I was tired of trying to figure it out on my own. I was tired, I was lonely, and I was about ready to like give up, right? But there was a part of me that also was like, you cannot give up because you know you're meant for more. There is more to life than the one that you're leading right now. I'm in too much pain to keep living like this. I'm too unhappy to keep living like this. So was it scary and painful to invest in myself and to invest in that coach? When I was investing in the coach, it really felt like I'm handing over this money. But now on hindsight, I look back and I realize that I was investing in myself, right? I was investing in my own future. And so I needed the accountability, and most of all, I needed the support. Like I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the foresight, right? And so I encourage you to seek out support. There is no shame in getting help and support to get unstuck. Whether that's me, whether that's somebody else, right? I don't care. Just get help, get unstuck. We owe too much to the next generation, to our daughters, to our nieces, to our granddaughters, to do this work. Especially if you don't live in America right now, you might not be aware of the political condition. But women's rights are being stripped away. And it is becoming a society where more and more men are making decisions and deciding what is best for women. And I am outraged and I am angry. But I refuse to feel powerless. And the way I choose to take my power back is by empowering other women to use their voices, to rise up, to become aware of who the F they are and how limitless we are in our potential and our power. And the more of us that step into our power and decide that my voice is worth being heard, that I have the power to change, this world will change. I guarantee you that. But it is a collective effort. It requires you to make a decision and say, enough is enough. I am done living with dimming my light, dimming my voice, and I'm here to take up and claim my spot in the world. It is time for you to rise up, my love. All right, I love you guys so much. If you love this podcast episode, please, please, please share it with other women. That is my biggest ask of you. We need more women to reclaim their power. All right, I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.